Hey folks, I'm Tennessee Brando with the MeidasTouch Network. So they actually opened the first Republican debate with the viral song Rich Men North of Richmond by Oliver Anthony. And they wanted to ask rich politicians why they thought that song was resonating with the American people. Take a look at this clip and then we're going to come back and talk about it.
So, Governor DeSantis, why is this song striking such a nerve in this country right now? What do you think it means?
Our country is in decline. This decline is not inevitable, it's a choice. We need to send Joe Biden back to his basement and reverse American decline.
So that's how they started the debate. And Ron DeSantis' answer was the reason why that song was resonating with the American people is because the country's in decline and the only way that we can save it is to take it back from Joe Biden. But I want to talk a minute about the song Rich Men North of Richmond and Oliver Anthony. It's blew up, went viral, and got so many people talking. And now we're having this debate now about authentic country music, which is a debate that we've actually been having for years, but now it's just been pushed more into the mainstream of things. Before Oliver Anthony blew up with this song, there were a whole lot of authentic country artists out there making authentic country music, talking about the real struggles of working people, and artists out there that had a lot of progressive views and progressive values, and those artists weren't being pushed or featured in the mainstream at all. It was just something that was a very vibrant underground. You had a lot of people talking, a lot of people going out to music festivals, a lot of people rejecting the kind of country music that you hear on mainstream country radio and a lot of the country music you see on stations like CMT, the music style videos that you see coming out of places like that. There was a whole lot of people that rejected that as country music because it wasn't an authentic representation of who we are here in Appalachia. When you see a video that looks like underwear models and Barbie dolls and they're all dancing around the swimming pool and driving a truck through the mud and everyone looks so plastic and everyone looks so pretentious and everyone looks so phony and so fake, that's not a true representation of how people in this part of the world actually live. And so for a long time, there were a whole lot of us out there that was really thirsty for some authentic country music that talked about the real struggles. And we were starting to get it. It was starting to happen. We were having a very vibrant underground scene. And of course, a lot of that music got labeled Americana. A lot of that music got labeled alternative country because it never was pushed into the mainstream. Even though those artists was able to gain quite a big following and have some success, it still was never accepted by Nashville. Country music has always had political leanings, whether it be to the left or the right. But after 9/11, we definitely saw country music take this really hard shift. If it was already going to the right, it took an extremely hard shift after 9/11. Artists like Toby Keith began writing pro-Iraq war songs, and everything became about, patriotism and things like that. So as we went forward, that's the direction that Nashville was in. And if you recall, back when the Dixie Chicks made the remark that they were ashamed that the President of the United States was from Texas, well, they were pretty much blacklisted from Nashville after that. They were pretty much kicked out. They were pretty much canceled by people who loves to say they hate cancel culture. And so country music in the mainstream has taken a hard shift to the right for a long time. And so these artists in the underground who were being true to their authentic selves and writing about the real struggles, they were never featured or they were never pushed to the front of the argument. And so now all of a sudden along comes Oliver Anthony and this song skyrockets to the top and right-wingers embrace this song as their anthem. And it just goes to show once again how good that the Republican Party is. You have to give the devils their due here. They are so good at hijacking things they know nothing about. They hijacked Christianity. The Republican Party hijacked Christianity. They hijacked the teachings of a man who taught compassion, who taught empathy, who taught helping other people, who taught helping the poor, feeding the hungry, giving the thirsty something to drink, visiting those in prison, healing those who are sick. They took that kind of message and they hijacked it and said, we are the people who represents the man that said that. And now they have hijacked country music with this song, and they say, we are the people of the working class. It's one of the most mind-numbing things that I've saw happen, because when I first listened to the song by Oliver Anthony, at first he had me hooked. He's got a good voice. The voice alone is good enough to go viral. Okay, I'll give him that. And as he's singing, I'm going, okay, yeah, we're all struggling to make ends meet. We're all having a hard time in this world. Okay, I'm with you. And then right in mid-song, he goes right into the talking points of the rich men north of Richmond. What does he do? He starts demonizing other people on welfare by saying that there's folks in the streets got nothing to eat, and the obese are milking welfare. And Lord, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. And as I heard that, I just put my head in my hands and went, well, there you go. That narrative that the Republican Party has been pushing for so long has worked. Because in this part of the world, I've heard that argument so many times. I've heard people talking about other people on welfare. They never look to the top. I know so many people in this part of the world that anytime you say we should have health care in this country, they'll say, well, how are we going to pay for it? If you say we should have college education in this country, how are we going to pay for it? They always say, well, my tax dollars shouldn't go to this. My tax dollars shouldn't go to that. And when you point out to them that these rich men north of Richmond put their offices in the Cayman Islands so they wouldn't have to pay taxes at all, when you point out how they milked welfare from the top, the response you're going to get in this part of the world is, well, if we keep taxing them, they won't be able to give me a job. And that's the narrative that they bought. That's why this song struck this chord with right-wing people, because they've been taught that the reason they can't get ahead in the world is the guy beneath them. It's the guy underneath them fault. That's the narrative that the Republicans have been pushing for so long in this country. And so they took a song that now they say is the plight of the American people, and we are, I guess the only rich men north of Richmond that's part of the problem is just Democrats. It's just Biden and Hunter. I guess that's the rich men north of Richmond, and the Republicans are going to save the day. Just like they hijacked Christianity, they hijacked country music. They hijacked a brand of music that always reflected people's struggles, that always reflected the hardships that country people actually went through. They hijacked it. They turned it into this patriotic, form of music after 9/11. They turned it into a bunch of fake, phony imagery, and now they've twisted it one more time to say, look, and I hear people saying, well, this is authentic country music. We're tired of the Jason Aldeans. We're tired of the Kid Rocks and the Luke Bryans and all these people, and we want this is more authentic. Well, yeah, it sounds more authentic. At the first listen, it's got a more folky sound. Oliver Anthony definitely has a good voice. He's got the resonator guitar playing. Yeah, it's got an old school sound to it, but it's got the same tired Republican message in it. It's got all the Republican dog whistles in it. Now, Oliver Anthony said in an interview that he's independent, that he shoots down the middle. Okay, he can say that, but it's funny to me that the dog whistles in the song all leans to the right. He's quoting the exact talking points of these rich men north of Richmond, and that's why that they can open the debate and they can say, oh yeah, this song's resonating with the American people because they're tired of working all the time and people on welfare getting a free ride. And that message will hit in this part of the world every time. It's worked for years. I live right here on the border of Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia, and I watch Kentucky, where I grew up as a kid. I watched them vote for Mitch McConnell over and over and over again. They've been doing it since I was 2 years old. They've been buying that message. And not to get off subject here, but the funny part is, none of them actually likes Mitch. I've never met a Kentuckian that says, oh man, Mitch McConnell's a great guy. We love him. Mitch is our guy. I don't hear that. All I ever heard, though, when I say to them, well, Mitch is a crook. Mitch has done nothing for us. Well, I know, but at least he's not a Democrat. That's their response. And that's why a song like this resonated with those kind of people. But I promise you this, for those that are trying to compare this to Woody Guthrie, it's laughable, okay? It really is. I mean, say what you will about Oliver Anthony, say what you will about his singing ability, his songwriting ability, whatever the hell. But for those that thinks that this is like the Woody Guthrie of our time, that's one of the most laughable things. If the right wing, the far right establishment that Woody Guthrie was always taking a swing at, he had on his guitar, "This machine kills fascists." If that man had have saw if Woody Guthrie had saw a Republican debate open debating his song and why it was resonating, I promise you, I would bet everything I own that Woody Guthrie would have stepped forward and said, no, whoa, when I was singing about those rich men north of Richmond, that's exactly the kind of people I was talking about. But Woody Guthrie would have never had a line like Oliver Anthony had in his song. Imagine if Oliver Anthony's song had a different line. I'll close with this. Imagine if the line, instead of, we got folks in the street, nothing to eat, and the obese milk and welfare, what if Oliver Anthony had said, we got folks in the street, got nothing to eat, and the corporation's milk and welfare. And if you're living high on the hog in that big old town, my taxes shouldn't go to give your ass a break. Imagine if he'd have said that. I have a feeling the song would have never been heard, just like so many other songs in this part of the world that were written and never really heard in the mainstream. And I guarantee you, had that been the line that Oliver Anthony said, you would not have heard a word of debate amongst Republicans. They would have not been up there debating why that song was resonating with the American people. So folks, keep hitting that subscribe button here on MeidasTouch. We did it. We made it to 1.5 million subscribers. So we got to keep on going till we get to 2 million. And I think we can do that by the end of 2023. So you guys put the hammer down. Let's get there. Let's get to 2 million. Keep sharing these videos. Let everyone know about MeidasTouch. And just like Woody Guthrie and the guitar that said, this machine kills fascists, MeidasTouch will always be here standing up against the fascists and fighting for truth and democracy. So until next time, I'm Tennessee Brando. You guys keep tuning in. I'll keep telling you the truth.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.